everybody, it's Ann Kaplan from Mommy, your mama resource from conception to college. Wherever you are in your momming journey, we are here for you. And the theme in the group this week has been schoolwork. And when I say schoolwork, I do not just mean homework. I mean the whole universe that our children are in when they're in school, whether we're talking about homework, work in school, tests, dealing with teachers, dealing with other people in school, all of those things. That's what I mean when I say schoolwork. And what I want to talk about today, it's Thursday, it's my tips and tricks day. I want to actually give you guys some advice and tips that you can use right now to possibly change the way that you are reacting to your kids in school and supporting them so that they're having success in school in a really empowering way. So the first tip that I want to give you when it comes to schoolwork is to, first of all, make your values about school very clear to your kids. Make it really clear to your kids what your expectations are, why they are what they are, and what you're expecting from them, what you believe is important about school, all of those things. And make that really, really clear to them in a way that is something that you can come back to later if those things aren't honored, if the kids are falling off the wagon, if people need to be a little bit more redirected. You can say, how many times have we talked about what I care about in school is not necessarily your grades, but your performance. I care that you're being respectful. I care that this or that. Sit down and think, what are my values about school? What do I actually believe and want when it comes to my kids and schoolwork? And then communicate that with your kids. And once you have that foundation laid, it becomes a lot easier for you to actually enforce and implement and model the things that you've told your children are important. So that brings me to my second tip, which is never care more than your kids do about their success in school. So this definitely gets more at like actual academic performance, not necessarily homework. Could be tests, could be behavior in school, could be homework, could be grades, whatever. But make sure that the way that you're parenting your child is getting them invested in their own success, not because mommy and daddy want me to get this grade or want me to have this result or want me to behave a certain way in school, but because I know that I want to behave that way because it's going to work out in my favor. And how do we do that? If you're already working with me, you already know what I'm going to say. Natural consequences. We need to create, as parents, whether we're talking about schoolwork or we're talking about any other thing in the world of parenting, our job as parents is to create opportunities and circumstances and the environment that allows our kids and encourages our kids to make really good choices. And that comes from consequences. Sometimes those consequences just come on their own. Like if you don't study for a test, you're probably going to get a bad grade. But sometimes we have to engineer those consequences for sure. But natural consequences are the way in which we create that environment that's going to get our kids invested on their own behalf in their performance and success in school. And once again, I don't want you to think that I'm only talking about grades and homework and tests and things like that. I'm talking about behavior in school, and I'm talking about respect in school. All of those things come from creating an environment that fosters our kids being invested in their own choices and understanding the ramifications of their decisions and empowering them to realize that they actually are the ones making those choices. And the other thing that's going to help you in creating that environment is handing your kids' problems back to them in a loving way. So if your child comes to you and says, oh my gosh, Mom, we got a test today and I know I did bad on it. Or another example is, Mom, tomorrow I have to bring a book report to school and I didn't finish the book or whatever. It's really easy to go into this kind of like meddling place of, oh my God, you didn't do your book report. You didn't read. Why didn't you tell me about this sooner? Oh my gosh, you're going to get a bad grade, blah, blah, blah. The more upset you get about their homework and their performance and the circumstance that they're in, even though they might be upset in the moment, they're receiving the message overall that like, as long as I tell Mom what's going on, she's going to worry about it for me. So even if in that moment they're like, I'm sorry, Mom, I don't want to get in trouble. Oh my goodness. In the long term, your anger, your meddling, your getting involved is actually increasing the likelihood that your child will continue this bad behavior. What you can do on the other hand, this is an example of handing that problem back to your child, is to say, wow, I know if it were me and I didn't do a book report, I would be really nervous to go into school the next day and not have anything to show for myself when that book report is due. What are you going to do about it? And if the kid's like, I don't know, you can say, well, do you want to think about it together? Do you want some ideas? You know, that kind of approach that's like much more of a consultant, a supportive person, a coach to your kids, but is constantly giving the message that this is your problem, not my problem. I already went to third grade. I'm good. You have a problem because you are not doing very well in third grade right now. That is the message that you're giving your child when you create that environment with natural consequences and deliver that environment and those consequences to them in a way that's handing their problems back to them. I know this is a big concept, and if you remember on Tuesday when I introduced the theme, I was like, I love this theme because it means that I can talk about all these different parenting concepts under the guise of talking about schoolwork. That's what I'm doing right now, and I love it. But I know that these concepts are big and deep, so reach out if you want more help in implementing or engineering or thinking of ways to respond to certain situations. And the last thing I want to say when it comes to schoolwork is this. Even things like time management, stress, anxiety, all of those things that are sort of this esoteric experience that our children have as they're getting older and assuming more responsibility and stuff like that, they're going to struggle with those things. Even those kinds of problems need to be handed back to your kid in a loving way that gives a message that you're still there to support them, but that it's their problem and you're here to help them and they can decide how they want to solve it and you're going to support them every step of the way. But a kid coming home to you and saying, oh my gosh, I can't do this class is too stressful, or my teacher was mean to me, or there's a kid bullying me in school, many times, most times, the best way to solve those problems and to react to those problems is to say, wow, that sounds like you're really struggling. I hear what you're saying. If anyone can solve this problem, it's you. Let me know if you want some support. And that's it. Very hard to do. Easy for me to sit here and say, very hard to do, but it's worth it. It's an investment in your kids' independence, self-esteem, confidence, all of those things. I hope that's helpful for you guys. I hope this week of schoolwork thinking is helpful for you guys. And I'd love to hear from you. So reach out and tell me what resonated for you in this video about implementing and responding to our kids' circumstances when they're in school, because it's a big deal. It's their universe. Once they start school, that's their world. And so helping them learn how to navigate that in a confident, independent way is a big deal. Love you guys so much. Have an amazing week, and I'll be talking to you again soon. Bye.